This is legal.
You might have heard about Project 2025. It's the handmaiden-esque conservative plan to reshape the federal government under the next presidential administration. It was created by the conservative think tank, the Heritage Foundation, and has deep connections to the Trump administration. But of course, it's so sweeping and draconian that even Donald Trump has had to try to attempt to distance himself from it. It's 900 pages of crazy pants insanity. And while Trump has said he doesn't know anything about it, it could form the backbone of his next presidency. Honestly, there was only one person who could do justice to the rage-inducing, sweeping legal and governmental changes that Project 2025 is seeking to implement: chaos lawyer Liz Dye.
Thanks, Devin. I've spent the past couple weeks poring over this manifesto, and I think I've got a pretty good handle on it. These guys really, really hate immigrants and pronouns, and they love local control. Well, unless the locality wants to let women control their own bodies, or treat undocumented immigrants like human beings, or be nice to gay and trans kids. Also, they're really mad about porn. The introduction refers to four...
Yeah, essentially. Essentially, yeah. But more scary.
broad fronts that will decide America's future. Number one, restore the family as the centerpiece of American life and protect our children. Number two, dismantle the administrative state and return self-governance to the American people. Number three, defend our nation's sovereignty, borders, and bounty against global threats. Number four, secure our God-given individual rights to live freely, what our Constitution calls the blessings of liberty. What makes these four pieces of the conservative promise so valuable to the next president is that they cut through superficial distractions and focus on the moral and foundational challenges America faces at this moment of history. And okay, who doesn't want to protect children, right? I mean, raise your hand if you hate freedom.
Bueller.
But as always, the devil is in the details. And you don't have to scroll very far to figure out what those details are. Because on the very next page, these guys tell you very clearly that they think America's problems could be solved if everyone would just get married and stay that way. Who's to blame for what ails us? Unmarried mothers, because there is no government program that can replace the hole in a child's soul cut out by the absence of a father. Fatherlessness is one of the principal sources of American poverty, crime, mental illness, teen suicide, substance abuse, rejection of the church, and high school dropout.
No, it's capitalism. not fatherlessness. It's capitalism and lack of social safety nets that cause those problems. Lack of social safety nets, economic inequality, and also the exploitative nature of our capitalist society that relies on, exploiting the working class. Yeah. Not fatherlessness.
That's a bold claim, although they cite no source for it. Nor is it clear what role the government should play in ensuring that children stay in the church. And anyway, how is the government going to convince parents to stay married? They're going to cut food stamps, obviously, because if you can feed your children without a husband, then, and then they're going to delete the terms sexual orientation and gender identity, diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, gender equality, gender equity, gender awareness, gender sensitive, abortion, reproductive health, reproductive rights, and any other term used to deprive Americans of their First Amendment rights from every federal rule, agency regulation, contract, grant regulation, and piece of legislation that exists. After that, they'll outlaw porn. And then they're going to ban abortion nationwide. And
Bye. See you later, JJ. Oh, we're so cooked, dude. We're so cooked. We're so cooked, chat. We're so cooked. It's over, man. It's over. Oh, God.
deport 20 million undocumented people, and then we'll all live happily married ever after.
Also, 30% of the entire agricultural industry is run by undocumented immigrants. So if you're trying to deport every single immigrant, we will literally all starve. 30% of the entire agriculture industry will be gone. And that's not going to happen because, profit. It's easier to exploit someone who's an undocumented immigrant because you can always use the looming threat of deportation over their head whenever they try to fight for, more rights and better, pay and a better working environment. So, of course, it's easier to exploit an undocumented immigrant than it is an American citizen, and also cheap labor and whatnot. It's all about maximizing profit margins. So, yeah, it's rough. It's rough. It's really, really bad.
So, tax cuts for big business and the 1%. Oh, and they're going to cut all funding for PBS and the Center for Public Broadcasting.
No, not PBS. I love PBS. PBS was the best, dude. I used to watch like Dinosaur Train or whatever on PBS back when I was a little pup. Yeah, good times. Dinosaur Train. Sorry, I got sidetracked. My fault.
That's
Sesame
gonna be a
Street, yeah.
big bird. Okay, guys, glove up.
Sesame Street, fucking Elmo and everything, all gonna be gone. Who's gonna teach kids about their 1, 2, 3s and ABCs now? What's his name? Oscar the Grouch, the Green Deed. Oh god. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry. A bit eepy, a bit sleepy.
We're going in. Project 2025 is a plan to reshape the entire country using the power of the federal government. It's got a chapter on how they plan to reform every major agency of the executive branch. And so it's a little weird that the document mentions abortion 199 times, because it's been illegal for the federal government to fund abortion since 1971, with exceptions for rape, incest, and to protect the life of the pregnant person. The Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in the Dobbs decision in 2022.
Awful decision. Literally so bad. They should have never done that. The women should have access to an abortion. Honestly, abortions should be free and accessible to everyone. I know, crazy hot take. Wow, insane. Women should have bodily autonomy. Wow, what a hot take. Crazy. And it should be free for everyone.
theoretically returning the issue of abortion to the states. So how can abortion figure so prominently in a blueprint for federal policy? One of the main things these guys want to do is ban abortion nationwide. So the document contemplates all the ways that the federal government can use its power over education, insurance, labor regulations, and healthcare to ensure that no one can access abortion anywhere in America. And
How
they
long
want
are
to
you
wield
going to
foreign aid
stream?
to
I don't know. I do have class tomorrow. It's probably not too much longer, but also, you know how I am, Meeps. I'm just vibing, you know what I mean, having a good time and whatnot. How are you, Meeps? I hope you're doing good. You missed it. I don't know if you were here earlier, but there were a lot of I was in a bit of a heated gamer moment with some conservative nut jobs. It was fun though. It
try
was
and make
funny,
sure that no one in the rest of the world
entertaining.
has access to abortion either. As with most of Project 2025, the chapter on their plans for the Department of Health and Human
Sorry,
Services
you
was
got a little
written by a
crazy
Trump
there.
administration
Damn.
alum. In this case,
Oh, I'm gonna keep doing politics. I ain't gonna stop. Okay. Yeah, I took a little bit of a break for a little bit, but I'm back. Now the election is done. Now that we got dictator Donald back, it's rough. I gotta cover this shit. It's gonna get these next few years is gonna be really insane. So yeah, I don't know. I'm scared. It's over. I'm good. That's good news. Glad to hear. Hope you voted if you're eligible. I don't know. I don't know if you can, but I hope you voted. But I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter now because Trump won and he has. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. He won and he has the Senate. He got the Senate, so that's GG's. And he also most likely is gonna get the House of Representatives. So that's also GG's. It's it's rough. It's rough, man. It's rough. Ain't looking too good. Ain't looking too good. So if he has the presidency, he has the Senate, and he has the House, he literally can just do whatever the fuck he wants. And we're also currently learning about Project 2025, which is the alt right guide towards the IKEA guide towards fascism, and what the Republican Party is planning to do for the next 4 years. So yeah, it's rough.
Roger
Ain't looking too good.
Severino, who worked at the Justice Department under Donald Trump. He believes that we should eliminate the HHS Reproductive Health Care Access Task Force and install a pro-life task force to ensure that all of the department's divisions seek to use their authority to promote the life and health of women and their unborn children. Additionally, HHS should return to being known as a Department of Life by explicitly rejecting the notion that abortion is health care. Abortion is a
Yo, that's insane. That's insane. That's so crazy, bro. And that's actually a nightmare fuel, bro. Being like, yeah, abortion is no longer a form of healthcare. Like, what? It is literally, by definition, it is literally a medical procedure, dog. It is a medical procedure between, a woman and their doctor, dog. That's it. Well, it's more to that, but it's healthcare. Like, it's a medical procedure. It's a form of healthcare. Like, what is this, bro? It's absolutely insane. Jeez Louise, dude. We're so cooked. It's so jovial.
complicated issue. People of good faith can disagree here, but the problem with Project 2025 is that it pretends the issue is not complicated. Even states like Texas, which ban abortion completely, have a provision in the law providing an exception to protect the life and health of the mother. Because, in fact, some women will die or suffer grave health consequences if they cannot access abortion.
Exactly. Women, in order to have, like, depending on the pregnancy or whatever, and an abortion is necessary in order to save the life of the mother, of the carrier of the fetus, right? So the abortion is necessary in order to save someone's life, right? Conservatives are like, nah, we don't care if the mom dies. That's essentially, they don't care if women die because they don't have access to an abortion. They are literally, this abortion ban will literally lead to more women dying because they don't have access to an abortion, which is insane, absolutely insane, and completely unjustifiable. So yeah, this is not pro-life whatsoever. Okay, if you really cared about life, then you would care about the life of the mother. Okay, okay. This isn't rocket science. This isn't quantum mechanics. It's not like I'm trying to explain string theory to you guys. You know what I mean?
Whether that provision in the law actually ensures access to care is another matter. Some pregnancies are the result of rape or incest, and most Americans think it should be legal for women to access abortion in those
Yes.
tragic circumstances. But
Yes.
Project 2025 simply pretends all that away with ominous references to the global abortion industry, as if there was a company called Big Abortion that was advertising 2-for-1 deals on every platform to get you to come down to the abortion plex and
It's
hop into
quantum
the stirrups
mechanics,
for
not
another
rocket
round.
science.
Severino wants the
Yes. I'm not explaining rocket science. I'm not explaining. Well, rocket science will more be so like astrophysics, and aerospace dynamics and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not explaining quantum mechanics. This is simple shit. Oh, it's a complicated procedure. We're talking about abortion, but the access, like, allowing women to have access to abortion isn't a very complicated thing. Like, it's as simple as, like, yeah, women should have access to this medical procedure. That's it. Like, there's, like, That's it. They should have access to this medical procedure that should be free. It should be universal and it should be free to anyone who needs it. The reason I went crazy there is I'm Jewish. Okay. Okay, and
CDC to fund studies into the risks and complications of abortion and ensure that it corrects and does not promote misinformation regarding the comparative health and psychological benefits of childbirth versus the health and psychological risks of intentionally taking a human life through abortion. And he plans to, quote, drive investigative review of literature for a variety of issues, including the
yikes.
effect of
So
abortion.
that's just straight up just suppressing free speech. Holy moly. Mm, yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. That's insane, bro. That's absolutely insane. We're so cooked. We're so cooked. The conservatives are just evil. These people are just
Abortion on
evil.
prematurity and breast cancer. But there is no
Like,
link between abortion and breast cancer, and there's no link between abortion and depression. And that's not how science works. You don't start with your preferred policy position and then go and try and create studies to back it up. But Project 2025 isn't just waiting for evidence to come in before implementing its policy goals. They want to reverse the FDA authorization of mifepristone, the most commonly used drug for medication abortions. They claim that it's untested and unsafe, despite the fact that it was approved in America in 2000 and has been in use in France since the 80s. They want to
so a medical drug that women have been using for, like, birth control for literal decades. They're trying to get rid of it. Classic conservatism. Trying to again strip away women's rights and their bodily autonomy so they don't have any choice in anything they do when it comes to their body. Classic conservatism. Jesus
ban
Christ.
mailing mifepristone across state lines
That's
under the
stupid. Yeah,
Comstock Act,
very
which,
stupid.
okay, more on that in a second. Project 2025 wants the federal government to discourage abortion tourism, by which they mean they intend to stop women in states which ban abortion from crossing state lines to get the care they need. They also
That's insane. That's actually insane. So not only can you not get an abortion, but if you try to go to a different state, you're also going to get blocked from being able to even travel to a different state to get an abortion. It's you just there's nothing you can do. It's GG's. It's over. You literally have there's really nothing you can do. But you're literally just forced to carry a child that you don't want because you don't or that you were forced into conceiving through the R word or through the I word. It's insane. It's so cruel and inhumane, bro. Holy moly.
Also want to block any federal money going to organizations like Planned Parenthood, which provides both abortion care and a whole array of other health services. So if you want to be screened for breast or cervical cancer at Planned Parenthood, well, you are just out of luck. And you know, if you
Insane.
don't want people to invoke
What's up, JJ? How's it going? We're so cooked. We're so cooked. Literally just denying people access to healthcare because, just because. Like, they hate women so much, so they just deny women of having healthcare. It's like, oh, no healthcare for you. It's like, what's real? Like, what's absolutely insane.
The Handmaid's Tale when they're talking about your program, maybe don't use the words abortion surveillance and complain that the government isn't tracking abortions closely enough, and put in writing that you plan to force doctors to ask women why they're choosing to have an abortion and then report the answer to the federal government. So if you have a period tracker.
Wait, Trump still has to go through. Trump still has to go through trial. He was found guilty of 30. He had 34 crime, so he can't be the president if he's in jail. Well, but no, that's the thing. The Supreme Court recently just did a thing where the president has like immunity to crimes. So if he even if he goes to court, like all of those court cases will be suspended. I forget what the Supreme Court decision was, but it was like he has immunity to do fucking crimes if it's presidential or whatever, in air quotes presidential. But
On your phone? No,
so
you
now,
don't.
hold up. Hold up. Good. President pardoned himself. Yeah, Donald Trump pardoned himself. Yeah, Trump is sending back to the White House. Can he pardon himself as president? First president. Yeah. Trump will be the first sitting president with a felony conviction. May Trump was convicted of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in New York. He was also accused of trying to steal the 2020 election in 2 indictments in Georgia and one in the federal court. His other federal indictment over his handing over classified documents was dismissed by a Trump-appointed judge, which prosecutor appealed. Has been fighting these cases, but now he's headed back to the White House. He may not face any consequences until after his term in the White House. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. President is showing herself would be unprecedented, so it's legally unclear if he did try it. It would not wipe out all of his legal problems. Presidential pardons only apply to federal cases, not state cases. The Constitution states the president shall have power to grant, I don't know what that word is, pardons for offenses against the United States, except in case of impeachment. The text limits the pardoning power to being by excluding state criminal offenses and civil claims according to constitutional. But with the Project 2025 thing and like their whole campaign of stripping away, giving the president more power, he'll probably do some shit like that where he'll make it so that he'll change something with the Constitution, or he'll put up it'll be an unprecedented case that will go to the Supreme Court. And since the Supreme Court is so stacked with so many different conservatives, of course they're gonna pass and they're gonna ratify within the Constitution to make it so that the president can pardon himself for other crimes or some shit. So he's just a straight up God, Emperor, King to just do whatever he wants. So we're cooked. I don't know. We'll just have to wait to see, Jay. I don't know. I mean, he should be in jail. Like, he should be in jail. He should have already been in jail.
Don't. Run.
But
it's not just abortion that these Project 2025 guys are so weird about. They have a lot of thoughts about birth control too. They want to ban the morning after.
Yeah, they want to ban birth control. They want to get rid of birth control. They want to stop women from being allowed to use birth control, which is again absolutely insane. Imagine if like the Democrats were pushing to like ban condoms, because they would go insane. They would go crazy. Like, oh my god, this is unconstitutional. You know what I mean? Yeah, gender roles and whatnot. The double standard is crazy, but that's due to we live in a patriarchy in big misogynistic society, so of course.
After pill, which
It'll
they call a
undermine
potential
women's
abortifacient. It is not.
civil
They want to
liberties.
ban medical schools from teaching new doctors how to safely perform an abortion, and they want to cut government funding for condoms from the Women's Health Initiative
Never mind.
because they say that condoms have nothing to do with protecting women's health, which suggests a fundamental lack of
What?
understanding of human biology.
Can this same procedure then be done in a pregnancy? Swallowing a camera and helping the doctor determine what the situation is with the
Mr. Chairman and Representative,
Huh?
it cannot be done in pregnancy simply because when you swallow a pill, it would not end up in the vagina.
Instead, they want the CDC to update it.
Oh shit! What an incompetent fool! These are the oh my god! These are the people who are in position of power. Huh? These are the people who are in position of power. Chat. We're so cooked. We're so cooked.
Public messaging about the unsurpassed effectiveness of modern fertility
Oh my God,
awareness-based
Jack-
methods of family
Jackie
planning, and
was so
stop
cooked.
publishing communications
cooked.
that conflate such methods with the long-eclipsed rhythm or calendar methods. Fertility awareness-based methods involve tracking your menstrual cycle and abstaining from sex during ovulation when you're most likely to become pregnant. The rhythm method involves tracking your menstrual cycle and abstaining from sex during ovulation when you're most likely to become pregnant. Neither one of these provides any protection from sexually transmitted infections, and both have a roughly 20% failure rate over a year. Or as they used to say back in the day, you know what they call people who use the rhythm method? Parents. Birth control pills, IUDs, and even condoms are more than 98% effective at preventing pregnancy. So when Project 2025 talks about the unsurpassed effectiveness of so-called natural family planning, they're maybe leaving out one or two relevant data points. But at least it's legal to ship an ovulation monitor through the mail, because one of the ways Project 2025 contemplates reducing access to birth control and abortion is by reviving the Comstock Act, an 1873 statute that made it illegal to use the post office to send birth control and pornography. It was named
Bro, what? What, dude? Yo, this country sucks. Yo, America sucks, bro. Holy, it's so evil. That's just
for
that's some comic book like super villain stuff. That's like some cartoon super villain stuff. Oh, holy.
Anthony Comstock,
Just evil for
an
the sake of being
anti-masturbation
evil.
activist who claimed that books are feeders for brothels and burned tons of them. The law was
he was a he was one of those retention dudes. He was one of those like no fap Andes. That's funny. He was an anti-gooner. That's funny.
immediately and successfully challenged on First Amendment grounds. But it remains on the books, and Project 2025 envisions using it to prevent the shipment of medication abortion drugs and anything else they consider an abortifacient, including many popular birth control devices and medicines.
That's crazy, dude.
Online, on Mac. Immerses
So
universe with
cooked.
But what should the government do to prevent the spread of STIs? Well, Project 2025 has a plan for that too, and that plan is to encourage us all to get married. No, I'm serious. Their plan to stop gonorrhea is to focus on strengthening marriage and sexual risk avoidance. And although the Supreme Court legalized gay marriage in 2015, the Heritage Foundation guys do not mean happily married gay couples. They mean heterosexual couples because, quote, families comprised of a married mother, father, and their children are the foundation of a well-ordered nation and healthy society. And so,
Cap. Where's the evidence? Where's the data? There's literally no data that suggests that being in a heterosexual relationship is better than being in a homosexual relationship or like in a married couple. That literally has don't no evidence for that. There's literally being in like a heterosexual relationship is not like statistically better or healthy for like a child than like if there's like a kid with like two gay dads or whatever. Like it does not make the kid worse off or whatever because they're in a household. It all stems from just a two-parent household is better for the kid academic like developmentally due to incomes. That's it. It's just income. Not doesn't matter. The sexual orientation doesn't matter when it comes to the development of the child. It's just income. Just two pairs of income. More income means more economic opportunities and more access to things.
for the sake of child well-being, programs should affirm that children require and deserve both the love and nurturing of a mother and the play and protection of a father. In fact, it's not just gay marriage that's in the Project 2025 crosshairs. This is a plan to erase LGBTQ+ people from public life entirely. The authors of Project 2025 seem to think that most of the nation's
Absolutely
problems could be
insane.
solved if we could just get rid of gender identity, or what they call the unscientific notion that men can become women and vice versa. For instance, they'll, quote, restore standards of lethality and excellence to the U.S. military by kicking out everyone who is transgender or HIV positive. To de-wokeify foreign aid, the government should...
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane, dude. Holy moly. Just straight fascism, dog. Just straight up fascism.
remove all references, examples, definitions, photos, and language on USAID websites, in agency publications and policies, and in all agency contracts and grants that include the following terms: gender, gender equality, gender equity, gender diverse individuals, gender aware, gender sensitive, etc. It should also remove references to abortion, reproductive health, and sexual and reproductive rights, and controversial sexual education materials. The solution to all the nation's ills, besides marriage, of course, is to roll back the Great Awakening by removing protections for transgender students, forcing schools to out kids to their parents, banning gender-affirming care for minors, and rolling back bans on discriminating against LGBTQ plus people at work and in public accommodations.
Dude, absolutely insane, brody. Like, they just don't want trans people or gay people to exist within society. Like, they're literally just trying to, like, eradicate the LGBTQ community, community, community from just existing. Which I think is completely wrong and unethical. Sorry. The evil thing to do. I hate conservatives and I hate Republicans. They suck. They're not good people. Very, very bad people. They suck. They're evil. They're evil. And they want to harm you and your children if you're not looking like straight or whatever. And that shit is trash. Do 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 do. Okay, sorry, we're
They
almost
even
done.
want to
almost done.
revoke the National Education Organization's public charter because the nation's largest teachers union, quote, promotes radical racial and gender ideologies in schools. And how are they going to fix public education? Get rid of those pesky pronouns. This would apparently make it illegal for teachers to respect their students' request to be called by anything, quote, other than the name listed on a student's birth certificate without the written permission of a student's parents or guardians. This would apparently ban nicknames, but it's a small price to pay to win the war on woke. Sorry, Billy. Oops, William. And while they're at it, they want to make DEI illegal too. Yeah, because if it's not trans people ruining everything, it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. In fact, the Project 2025s are so spun up about what they call critical race theory that they want to conduct purges at organizations like the Treasury Department. This document proposes to identify any Treasury Department employee at any level who attended diversity training under the Biden or Obama administration and treat the participation in any critical race theory or DEI initiative without objecting on constitutional or moral grounds as per se grounds for termination of employment. And the Project 2025 guys don't just want to fire
thanks for the
anybody
follow,
in government
gamer.
who sat through a diversity workshop. They want the
We are learning about Project 2025 and the effects and what the Republican Party is trying to do, stripping away, getting rid of contraceptives for women and for men, trying to get rid of birth control and condoms and shit, and trying to completely ban abortion on a nationwide level. And also trying to just eradicate trans people and gay people from existing within society. It's insane. And much more, and also gutting, all the regulatory agencies like the FDA and Department of and the environmental department and all those other all the agencies that regulate things like food and like clean food and water and stuff and diseases and the environment, like all that stuff that we kind of need in order for our society to function. It's going to be stripped away. It's going to be defunded. So yeah,
Justice Department
it's
to, quote,
over.
use the full force of federal prosecutorial resources to investigate and prosecute all state and local governments, institutions of higher education, corporations, and any other private employers who are engaged in discrimination in violation of constitutional and legal requirements, by which they mean they want to prosecute employers they believe are making too many diversity hires. And if that happens to have the chilling effect of discouraging companies from hiring people who are not white men, well, they're good with it.
Yeah, and if you're prosecuted under Project 2025's craziness, you'll probably want a good lawyer because the country has some serious issues. But if you want a great lawyer, my law firm, the Eagle Team, can help. If
Ain't
you've gotten in a
no
car
way,
crash,
dog.
suffered a data breach, especially if you got one of those letters saying that your social security number
Ain't
was
no
leaked, or
way,
are
dog.
dealing with a workers' comp or
What
social
a
security
crazy
issue,
ass.
we can represent you or help find you the right attorney. Because it's
What
so
a
important to talk
crazy
to a
ass,
lawyer right
dog.
away so you get the best representation and find out what you're
It's the president of the Heritage
Okay.
team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle Team. So click below.
Ain't no way.
Let's take a break and talk about who exactly is behind Project 2025. Project 2025 is the brainchild of Kevin Roberts,
You
the
don't need to
president of the
list
Heritage
all the different
Foundation,
reasons.
and Russ Vaught, the former head
I've
of the
already
Office
seen
of
this video.
Management and
Oh.
Budget in the Trump White
Okay.
House. And to staff
My
this thing
bad.
up,
I know.
they brought in Trump's former
Just trying to
personnel
keep you
chief,
updated.
Johnny McEntee.
I don't know.
Heritage is the OG conservative think tank
My
founded
fault.
during the Nixon administration to advocate for pro-business policies and against the global spread of communism. It's been highly influential.
No. No, not the spread of communism. Oh no. Not the scary communist. Oh no. That means I can't spread any more communist propaganda on my streams. Oh no. I'm gonna get arrested, chat, for reading Karl Marx. Oh no. It's over. It's over. No more theory. We can't read Das Kapital anymore. Oh shit. It's raps. We're cooked. We're cooked.
Heritage is the OG conservative think tank founded during the Nixon administration to
I'm
advocate
still
for
gonna do it
pro-business
anyway.
policies and against the global spread of communism. It's been highly influential in every Republican administration since Reagan and during Democratic administrations.
So yeah, you stopping the spread of communism, containment, communists, no, not the scientific communists. Not the communists, oh no. I wish, dude. Yeah, I wish we had a communist running for president in the U.S. Not that it would ever happen, due to McCarthyism and like almost 80 years of red scare propaganda throughout after in the aftermath of the Cold War. It's like we're never gonna get a communist in Congress or like in the president. It's not gonna happen. I wish one day, never. Maybe a socialist, maybe. I wish one day, surely. Any communists and goth mommies in the chat? Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Influential in every Republican
I gotta lock
administration
in. Sorry.
Reagan and during Democratic
The intrusive thoughts
administrations
took over.
dedicated itself to opposing everything from single-payer health care to student loan relief. Since the end of the Cold War, Heritage has increasingly thrown itself into culture war issues, particularly opposing abortion and gay rights.
Classic. What the hell is this? Ooh, this looks cool. Okay, cool.
Roberts is a dedicated conservative stalwart who headed up the lobbying arm at Heritage before becoming its leader. He's praised Hungary's proto-fascist president Viktor Orban, who says that Hungarians do not want to become a mixed race.
Yo, that's just straight Nazi shit, bro. What the fuck? That's insane. That's just straight Nazi shit, bro. You like what? Anti-mixed racing? Being anti-mixed racing? Straight up fascist, bro. Holy. Mini Hitler's running around, bro. What is going on, dog? Holy.
And Roberts is open that his organization's mission is institutionalizing Trumpism. So while Trump insists that he knows nothing about Project 2025, Roberts has been clear that he and Trump are part of the same movement.
Yeah, of course. Of course they are. And of course Trump knows what 2025 is. He's just saying that he doesn't because he knows how unpopular it is and how people are like freaking out being like, yo, this is crazy. Like, what the hell is going on? Don't do this. So he's trying to distance himself from it because it's extremely barbaric and undemocratic. And he knows that. So he's distancing himself from it.
And he's laying out the agenda for the next Trump administration. Russ Vaught is a self-described Christian nationalist who serves
Christian nationalist, also fascist, also a fascist terrorist organization. At this point, we'd be lucky for non-national communism. Basically, is political trigger war chances that are zero. Yeah. People get very, very angry whenever you say communism or communist. It's like it sets off like a flick, like a light switch in their brain. They see red, especially when you're talking to like a conservative Like I remember one time I was talking to like a chatter about like free healthcare, universal free healthcare. But and then he was like, "That's communism, brother, and that's evil." It's like, well, your brain dead. You're actually brain dead. So stupid.
As the current policy director of the Republican National Committee. In 2016, he wrote that Muslims do not simply have a deficient theology, they do not know God because they have rejected Jesus Christ, his son.
Dude, oh yeah, the Christian nationalists. We gotta learn more about them. I mean, I know about them, but teach y'all more about them. They're just again another fascist organization. But they use religion to like justify their fascist rhetoric and ideology. It's really messed up.
And they stand condemned. He believes we're living in a post constitutional moment, and the only solution is to massively centralize power in the office of the president, conscripting the entire federal bureaucracy as a tool to reorder society in accordance with conservative values. If you lived through the first Trump administration, you may remember it was something of a chaotic time, with the White House pumping out executive orders banning all Muslims from entering the country, or kicking all transgender people out of the military, or announcing the immediate withdrawal of all troops from Afghanistan, or declaring an emergency and raiding military funds to build a border wall. Roberts and
I don't know. I want evil. I need to think about it. Hmm. Communism is pretty based and cool, but nah. You know what's inherently evil? Capitalism. Having an entire economic system that's based around maintaining profit margins instead of the well-being of the working class proletariat. Like that's inherently evil. When you have an entire system that's dedicated on uh, 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 making as much money as possible, like that's evil. More evil than communism. They're like, hey, now this is very like reductionist. But like communists be like, hey, we should have a house and education and healthcare for like free, and it shouldn't be left behind profit. Capitalists are like, nah, pay us money, or else you can't buy your insulin that's like $300, even though oh you don't have enough money to pay for your life saving medication because of your illness. GG's bozo. That's capitalism. Or else be in medical debt for years for a medical treatment that should be free. But capitalism and dicky poo poo.
think that the problem wasn't that Trump's ideas were crazy or illegal, but that there were too many disloyal civil servants who refused to implement them.
But on the point of follow-up question, is there a policy solution or proposal in this book, which is going to be?
I just don't care for Nazis. Yeah, yeah, you shouldn't. It's not good. Yeah, no.
Put out
Not a
imminently
good,
that
not
you're
a
most
good
interested
thing.
in, you're most excited
Nazism,
about?
very bad.
Well, I think one that's gotten a lot of press is Schedule F.
Nazism is
Schedule F
bad.
was something
Yeah,
that materialized at the end of the
it's bad.
administration that the
It is very
president
very
did.
bad.
To be able to say that if you're working on policy for the president, you're an at-will employee.
So this time around, they've prepared Project 2025 as a blueprint so they can hit the ground running. And to make sure there's no deep state sabotage, they plan to destroy longstanding protections for career government employees who currently can't be fired for perceived
Dude, that's insane, bro. Imagine just like you've been working for like a government position and they're like, hey, yeah, Trump, yeah, I don't want to push this. I don't want to pass this legislation that's like completely stripping away funding from the entire board of education. You're like, nah, you're fired. Like, what? Yeah, it's insane. We're
loyalty.
so cooked.
Instead, much of the federal government will be staffed with political appointees who serve at the pleasure of the president. Johnny McEntee rose from being Trump's body man during the 2016 campaign to running the Presidential Personnel Office, which staffs the entire executive branch. During the final year of Trump's presidency, McEntee began administering loyalty tests at the various executive branch agencies in an attempt
Loyalty test. They're like, hey, yeah, you're gonna take a test of how much of a servile little peasant are you to the Republican Party? Jesus Christ. How about you be if you're not a loyal servile little peasant to the Republican Party, then you're fired. Like that's insane. It's so extremely barbaric. Like this isn't This isn't the freaking 16th century anymore. We're not living in. There's not kings and castles. We don't have servants and peasants anymore, dog. It's 21st century. That's
attempting
insane.
to push out anyone who had expressed a negative opinion of Trump.
These policies are barbaric, and we are going in the opposite direction of making progress. You know, instead of making progress for the betterment of society, we're going backwards, dog. Making it worse.
For his policies. In conjunction with Project 2025, McEntee is assembling a presidential personnel database preparing to staff the next Trump administration with MAGA faithful. He also started a dating app called The Right Stuff so that Trump supporters won't get their feelings hurt by all the swipe lefts on Tinder.
What are you looking for in a partner?
They just have to be a conservative.
Ew, gross. Ew, no. Ugh, gross. No. They just have to be conservative. No, I would rather. I can't say that on Twitch, but no.
Definitely someone that wants to have kids. I like an independent man. Personally, I like the alpha male vibe, which is
No. Paid actor. Paid actor. Paid actor. No way. She just said I like the alpha male vibes. No way, bro. How much was he paid to say that? Yeah, ain't no way, dog. Sis, was the bag worth it? I hope the bag was worth it. Holy, no way, dog. No way.
Weird, because who wouldn't want to date a guy like this?
So I always keep this fake Hollywood money in my car, so when a homeless person asks for money, then I give them like a fake $5 bill, so I feel good about myself, they feel good, and then when they go to use it, they get arrested, so I'm actually like helping clean up the community.
Yo, that's evil. Like, you're just an evil person. Like, you're right. He belongs in the gulag. Like, put this man in the gulag, dog. What? I give fake money to homeless people so that they can be arrested? You're evil. You're just an evil person. This dude is a supervillain. Oh my god. That is so evil. How can you be so cruel to a person who is struggling and suffering on the streets? What the hell? That's insane. Like, this guy's a psychopath. He belongs in the gulag. Like, gulag. Straight to the gulag. What?
You know, getting them off the street.
Oh yeah, that's really him.
Oh, hell no, dog.
Now let's
Honestly, average conservative, dog. Least, nicest conservative. Jesus Christ, dude.
talk about what Project 2025 would do to education in this country, aside from banning pronouns. Maybe you're a little kid just trying to figure out how to drink your juice and play in the sandbox and recognize your ABCs. Project 2025 would eliminate Head Start, which subsidizes childcare for 820,000 poor kids between the ages of 3 and 5. Or maybe you're a kid who relies on getting lunch and possibly breakfast at school. Project 2025 wants to cut way back on what it calls a federal catering program and axe meals in the summer for kids who aren't in summer school. Oh, you're a fourth grader who isn't enrolled in classes this summer? Guess you can wait till September to eat. On the bright side, during the next administration, kids will be able to earn more pocket money by taking on dangerous jobs that are currently off limits to them. Project 2025 plans to repeal hazard order regulations which bar teenagers from risky jobs in factories and mines because, quote, some young adults show an interest in inherently dangerous jobs.
People don't want children working anymore. In fact, they want them in school now.
During their most productive years, when their tiny fingers are still small enough to fit into the crevices of the machinery?
Maybe you're applying to college and you need a student loan. Project 2025 aims to end federally subsidized student loans on the theory that the marketplace will do it more cheaply and efficiently. And if the government does make education loans, Project 2025 wants to treat those as an economic investment which must be repaid in interest and principal rather than an investment in the education of the American population. They want to roll back all loan forgiveness and end loan abatements for borrowers who do socially valuable things with their degrees, like provide healthcare in underserved rural areas. How will they solve the rural healthcare crisis? Well,
GG's, we're never getting student loan forgiveness. GG's.
They'll reduce the regulatory burden. According to the Center for American Progress, a liberal think tank, borrowers would pay about $3,000 more a year under this plan. In fact, the Project 2025 guys think the Department of Education, which they call a convenient one-stop shop for the woke education cartel,
the woke educational cartel. Oh my god. That's hilarious. Alright, good night, Blue Jay, Blue Bomber. Good night, gamer. The woke educational cartel. That's
Should be
hilarious.
abolished in its entirety.
That's
And
insane,
speaking of stuff
dude.
they'd like to kill, you can wave goodbye to free weather reports. The chapter on the
No
Environmental
way.
Protection
No way. No way. Of course. That's no way,
Agency is written
bro.
by Mandy Gunasekara, who was chief of staff at the
Hello.
EPA under Trump. She previously served as
Oh
House
God, Mandy. She has crazy eyes. This is the death stare right here. She looks like she's. If you look at her for too long, your fucking soul will melt. Okay, holy moly.
counsel to the late Senator James Inhofe, who once waved a snowball around on the floor of the Senate to prove that climate change wasn't real. Yep, that's her sitting right behind him.
Average, smartest conservative. Holy, dude, these people are so brain dead. Jesus Christ. How are these people in a position of power? This country this country is literally a clown show. This country is a circus, dog.
Sekara refers to the
Oh
quote,
my
perceived
gosh.
threat of climate change and advocates rolling back.
Perceived threat of climate. Dude, the global temperature is rising. We're having all these these natural disasters that are increasing in frequency, that are increasing in severity. Like all these different animals are going extinct on a much higher rate, at a much faster rate. Entire species, like hundreds of thousands of species of animals are going completely extinct due to pollution and climate change, and global warming and stuff. What are you talking about? The perceived threat. Oh my god, people are brain dead.
Back pollution standards across the board. Elsewhere in the Project 2025 blueprint,
Like look at what was it, Hurricane Helene? It was like a Category 5 hurricane, one of like the strongest that we've ever had in like human history, dog. Like one of like the strongest hurricanes in like human fucking history that's ever been recorded. Like they were like it was so insane that like meteorologists were like, yeah, we've never seen something like this before. Like, and they're saying climate change is fake. Like I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. Don't understand how these people can be this.
are plans
Oh
to
my
end
god.
all subsidies for clean energy, concentrate
What?
on producing food cheaply, whatever the cost to the environment, eliminate energy efficiency standards for appliances, roll back mileage standards for gas-powered cars, and more or less ban the entire federal government from taking climate change into account when
Yeah, GG's, we're cooked. GG's. Yep, climate change is already destroying the planet, and with these policies, and if this shit is actually passed and completely gut all of the climate change policies, then we're just we're speed running our own extinction. Like, yeah, humanity is just speed running their own extinction. So, good luck with that. You humans, very silly,
crafting U.S. policy.
silly billies.
It'll start getting cooler.
I wish
You just watch.
And they'd like to withdraw us from the Paris Climate Agreement, the multinational framework designed to reduce the impact of climate change worldwide. Toward that end, they plan to get rid of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, aka NOAA, which houses multiple environmental agencies, including the National Weather Service. Thomas
What?
Gilman, Assistant Secretary of Commerce under Trump, wrote that together these form a colossal operation that has become one of the main drivers of the climate change alarm industry and as such is harmful to future U.S. prosperity. He doesn't believe in the fatal conceit of planning for the unplannable. And if he gets his way, that will include planning to take an umbrella when you leave the house, because currently the National Weather Service provides free weather data as part of its environmental information services. But Gilman thinks the government should fully commercialize its forecasting operations.
Yo, that's insane. Bro, having to pay to see the weather is insane, bro. We're paywalling the weatherman now? Like, what? Capitalism. Capitalism is literally the worst system. Holy shit. Yeah, just capitalism. Holy shit. Literally putting. Oh, is it gonna rain? Is it gonna be cloudy? Is it gonna be sunny? Nope. Oh, it's locked behind a paywall. Why are we locking? We're locking the weather for today behind a paywall like it's a Fortnite battle pass. Like what the? Yeah.
And sell that data to private companies so that they can monetize it.
Yeah.
Ka-ching! And now, let's talk about
See what do I always say? Capitalism, one of the fundamental aspects of capitalism is profits over people. Profits over the well-being of the proletariat. What do I say? Oh my god.
Something near and dear to Donald Trump's heart.
At a rally in New Hampshire, Trump railed against the southern border crisis and people crossing.
Here we go. With the border and the shit and these goddamn illegal immigrants. Here we go with the rampant racism and xenophobia.
Illegally into the U.S.
They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've.
That's white supremacy. That's a white supremacist talking point. Poisoning the blood of the country, meaning white people. Yep, that's white supremacy right there. Textbook white supremacy right there, bud. That's a dog whistle. Holy moly, that's some fascist shit right there. Talking about different people from different countries coming into our country, poisoning them blood because they're like race mixing, whatever, being joining our communities and shit. Which is something I don't believe in. Like, holy shit, people are just so goddamn racist. It's insane, incredibly racist, diabolical levels of racism and the white supremacy. This dude is like he's like a prestige 5 level, like 95 racist. You know what I mean? Like if he was a Klansman, he would be the grand, what was it, like the fucking Grand Wizard or whatever. He'd be the top level racist. Jesus Christ, dude, what a scumbag.
They've done. They poisoned.
Trump has long dreamed of mass deportations and recently promised to deport 5% of the U.S. population, including many of the workers we rely on to supply us with cheap meat and produce.
Yep, it's absolutely insane. The millions of people who have been living here for years, working their asses off to provide for their families, just like you and me, everybody, just working, just trying to survive, like everybody else. And also these people are heavily exploited, especially within the agricultural industry. I think it's like 30% of the agricultural industry is maintained by like undocumented immigrants, and they are even more exploited than like the average American citizen, due to them being an undocumented immigrant, and the threat of being deported is constantly being held over their shoulders by their bosses if they're trying to fight back to have more labor protections, better working conditions, better wages and stuff like that. So they're even more exploited for their cheap labor. It's Jesus Christ, extremely unjustifiable and completely unethical. And also these people are coming here to seek asylum and whatnot and just live. These people just want to survive and live just like everyone else. But no, conservatives won't let that happen. Instead of helping these people, instead of giving these people the resources that they need to become productive members of society and to immigrate into assimilate into society, we're like, nah, fuck you. We're not gonna help you. We're gonna separate you from your kids and put you in a concentration camp. That's what conservatives want to do. I hate this country. This country sucks. We just every day we just go further and further towards fascism. We're so cooked. GG's.
2025 calls for the Department of Homeland Security to be replaced with a new standalone border and immigration agency at the cabinet level, effectively centralizing power in the president. The Project 2025 guys get very touchy when people accuse them of planning to build concentration camps, but they are calling to immediately round up any undocumented person, no matter how long they've been here or how little danger they pose to the community, and turn them over to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement for detention.
Literally just a concentration camp. That's what they're doing. They're mainlining legalizing concentration camps. That's what they're doing. It's like
they're planning for a significant increase in detention space, raising the daily available number of beds to 100,000. And that number would include children as well. The author of this chapter is Gene Hamilton, who drafted Trump's child separation policy the last time around. 5,000 children were taken from their parents by the U.S. government, after which DHS simply lost track of hundreds of them who were never reunited with their families. Hamilton plans to restart.
Insane, dude. It's so sad, bro. Like, America, we're so evil. We're just evil, dog. Like, we are the cartoon supervillains of the story. We are just evil. Holy moly. We are an evil country.
This program, deporting migrant children to their home countries as quickly as possible. This would require ending the Flores Settlement Agreement, which requires the government to place unaccompanied children in non-secure facilities that are state licensed to care for dependent children.
Dude, insane, dude. Insane. Bro, No way.
Instead, they'll return to, quote, large-scale use of temporary facilities, for example, tents. And they don't mean this. They mean this. So yeah, we'll be doing the kids in tents thing again. Project 2025 plans to repeal Section 235 of the William Wilberforce Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act of 2008, aka the TVPRA, which provides numerous immigration benefits to unaccompanied alien children and only encourages more parents to send their children across the border illegally and unaccompanied. And they want to cancel temporary protected status, which prevents the deportation of all manner of refugees, including thousands of Ukrainians who fled after Putin invaded their country. They intend to end H-2 temporary worker programs and drastically curtail the use of T visas for victims of human trafficking. They'd also like America's refugee system to be pay to play with much higher fees on the theory that people fleeing for their lives probably have several $100s hidden in their backpacks to pay for processing.
Dude, insane. Paywalling being processed into the country. Jesus Christ, I hate capitalism. Holy moly.
Much of this would require congressional cooperation. But if they don't get it, the Project 2025 guys advise the Trump administration to simply pull the fire alarm and claim emergency authorization to do it anyway. They should, quote, create an authority akin to the Title 42 Public Health Authority that has been used during the COVID-19 pandemic to expel illegal aliens across the border immediately when certain non-health conditions are met, such as loss of the operational control of the border. Actually, Trump did exactly that the first time around when Congress refused to appropriate funds for his Mexico border wall. You know, the one Mexico was going to pay for. And Project 2025 wants him to do it again, but this time for the entire immigration system. Just claim you've lost control of the border and do whatever you want. Let the Supreme Court sort it out later, right?
And then we'll get another bad ruling, and then we'll end up in the Supreme Court, and hopefully we'll get a fair shake.
Well, that's all horrible. But remember like 20 minutes ago when we said these guys want to ban porn? Well, they do. In fact, they want to throw anyone who makes or distributes pornography in jail. Here's what Robert said about it in the foreword to Project 2025. Pornography, manifested today in the omnipresent propagation of transgender ideology and sexualization of children, for instance, is not a political Gordian knot inextricably binding up disparate claims about free speech, property rights, sexual liberation, and child welfare. It has no claim to First Amendment protection. Its purveyors are child predators and misogynistic exploiters of women. Their product is as addictive as any illicit drug and as psychologically destructive as any crime. Pornography should be outlawed. The people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned. Educators and public librarians who purvey it should be classified as registered sex offenders. And telecommunications and technology firms that facilitate its spread should be shuttered. Okay, it's a lot. First of all, pornography is 100% protected by the First Amendment. In a 1969 case called Stanley v. Georgia, the Supreme Court ruled that the First Amendment protects the right to private possession of pornography. The court held unanimously that if the First Amendment means anything, it means that a state has no business telling a man sitting alone in his house what books he may read or what films he may watch. Our whole constitutional heritage rebels at the thought of giving government the power to control men's minds. And in a 1973 case called Miller v. California, the Supreme Court articulated what became known as the Miller test. Under the First Amendment, the government can only ban speech if it's obscene. And they don't mean obscene like gross. They mean that you can only ban materials which, quote, appeal to a morbid interest in sex as opposed to a healthy interest in sex, which depict or describe in a patently offensive way sexual conduct specifically defined by the applicable state law. And the material must, taken as a whole, lack serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. And while the Project 2025 guys may have a moral objection to pornography, that doesn't mean they can outlaw it. So don't go deleting your browser history just yet. But let's cut the BS. They don't really intend to shut down half the internet and shutter the
Okay, I would believe me, my kids and I we're trying to convince my wife that Tinkle porn existed. I tried to find it.
billion-dollar porn industry, and you know that because the second part of that quote talks about arresting teachers and public librarians for distributing it, which is something that is not happening. When was the last time you walked into a school library and said, "Miss Sparkle, can you please take me to your X-rated movie section?" That's not a thing. But what is a thing is Florida's Don't Say Gay law that tried to make it a crime for school libraries to carry books that had gay or trans characters, or for teachers to talk about gender identity, or to even acknowledge that gay people exist. Roberts talks about children suffering the toxic normalization of transgenderism with drag queens and pornography invading their school libraries. And pornography, manifested today in the omnipresent propagation of transgender ideology and sexualization of children. He's not trying to ban porn. He's trying to ban anyone who treats LGBTQ plus people like they have a right to exist in society. We're back to the pronouns again. But this time,
Classic
if you use them right,
conservatism.
they'll put you in jail. So much for local control.
Classic conservatism. Oh my gosh, bro.
And keeping government out of your business.
Yeah, as we mentioned, Project 2025 is so toxic that even Trump has tried to distance himself from it. He posted, quote, "I know nothing about Project 2025 and I have no idea who is behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal."
I saw this thing on Reddit, and it was like this
Cap.
ad blocker that pays you to watch ads.
Stop the cap.
Now, this is all despite the fact that many of Project 2025's authors are part of his administration and are likely to be pegged for a second Trump administration. But Rolling Stone reports that, quote, "Trump has been privately and very bitterly complaining about the abortion policies laid out in the lengthy Project 2025 manifesto and trashing the Project 2025 linked lunatics who keep demanding unpopular abortion bans and restrictions." Further, they report that one of Project 2025's contributors said, quote, "Trump can try to distance himself from this, but 70 to 80% of the people who wrote the book are going to be in his second administration. The cabinet undersecretaries, assistant secretaries, the senior advisors. They're all going to be the foot soldiers in a second Trump administration. You can't look at this constellation of organizations and people without seeing that they're all his people." And now Paul Dans, the director of Project 2025, is stepping down from the project, potentially to give Trump additional cover. Now, some have reported this as Project 2025 shutting down, but that doesn't really make any sense because it's a policy paper. The work is largely done and the roadmap is laid. But if Project 2025 makes you concerned for our nation, you can do something about it with today's sponsor, Tab for Democracy, without even needing to get up from the couch. Because Tab for, as a result, the elect is software that helps people navigate democracy one tab at a time, and they've recently won lawsuits against Kansas and Georgia. See you in court.